So what is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel once again. You know, I appreciate having you here. Stick around for today's video. It's all about this. I've got a new little first impressions ride for you, and it's this, the little SINNIS GPX 125 super sports bike. And I use the term super sports extremely loosely because it is a 125, but that doesn't mean we can't have fun. As you know, on this channel I do like a little one. That's a 125. Leave it, get your minds out the gutter. I've got two of them myself, a little Super Cub and a CV125. But yeah, we're going to have some fun. I've got this for a little while, so we're just going to have a bit of a play. Right, so before we get into it properly, let's do the kind bits. Let's do the shout outs, let's say. Thank you very much again to SINNIS Motorcycles down on the south coast and On The Wheel Motorcycles. I shall leave a link to all that downstairs in the descriptions box, and also leave a link for the full specifications for this. For myself, welcome aboard, Mr. Fish. Just thought I'd introduce myself in case you didn't catch the name of the channel. It does say road closed, but we're going to have a go anyway. This camera here keeps vibrating loose, so yeah, that's a little bit of a heads up. It's quite vibey, this bike, but anyway, we'll get into that in a little bit. For now, we're just going to ride these awful country lanes. I don't know how I picked this one. It is awful. I think I'm going to turn around. This is an awful road. Let's go another way. Let's go off-roading. We're going off-roading. It's not very good off-road. Oh, big hole. Another big hole. Oh! Actually, it handled those quite well. I had to use my legs as suspension, but it did handle them well. Right, so stick around for this video. I'll tell you a little bit more about this little SINNIS GPX after the titles, and a little bit more about myself. I know you can't wait. You're on the edge of your seats. Anyway, stick around. Right, welcome back. Thank you very much for that. I do appreciate it. Honestly, I do. So as I said, all the specifications for this bike from SINNIS and On The Wheel and myself and my social media, I shall drop that down in the descriptions box, so go and check that out. Follow me on all platforms. You get all sorts of things. It's not always bikes, and it's not always informative. Sometimes it's very stupid, but that's the way it goes. That's the way we live our lives. Right, so myself. A little bit about myself. I am 6'2", wide in the shoulders, long in the legs, and now touching 16 stone. I'm just under 16 stone. That's right, people, we are losing weight. We've lost a shitload since the last review I've done. But anyway, you know about me, you're about this, the little SINNIS GPX. And I've got this for a week, so I'm going to be, don't tell SINNIS this, I'm going to be ragging this for a week. But this is the first impressions. This is the first day on it, the first time I've ridden it. Right, so it's a little 125 single cylinder sports bike. Now, I'd always err on the edge of caution when I say sports bike in a 125. Sports looking bike, yes. Gonna blow your mind with acceleration and power, never. But if you are young or old, doesn't matter. There's no discrimination of age on this channel, but if it is your first bike, it is going to feel quite fast to you. And if you do redline it, not that I am, because it's only done 100 miles, it is quite rewarding, but we will get back to that. As I said, single cylinder, 125, I think it's liquid cool. I did my research, you know, and so far, well, we'll get back to the so far towards the end of the video. Let's crack on with the ergonomics. Ergonomics, bars to pegs to seat ratio. And do you know what? I'm actually pleasantly surprised. It is quite tucked up, it is quite sporty, but it's on the touring side of sport, if that makes sense. It's a bit more ergonomically friendly for the larger chap. So if you're small, you'll be able to tuck right down in the bubble in your sports mode. But for myself, who obviously can't really do that, I will have a go. Here we go. I mean, I can shuffle back in the seat, but that's about as low as I can get. So yeah, and I probably look like an idiot doing that. But I've got to say, it is pretty comfortable. The seat's decently padded. I've only been on it for, well, not long, 20 minutes tops. But I'm not getting any sort of like pain through it. Sometimes you get on a little 125 sports bike and it lacks so much padding that it's uncomfortable from when you get straight on it. There is a little bit of shuffle room in the seat, backwards and forwards, but it does tend to push you into the tank. The pegs are quite sporty. They're not super tucked up. Your heels are not touching your backside. It's on the comfortable side of sporty. Right, so yeah, the pegs are okay, the seat's okay, the handlebars a little bit wristy for me. By that I mean my weight's on my wrist, but because it is light, it's not too bad. It's not the end of the world. It's not disgusting. It's not super painful. It's just meh, if that makes sense. But I am used to riding adventure bikes and I'm used to being up here. Mirrors, pretty useless. If I duck down here I can see behind me, but then I'm so ducked down that I can't actually see forward because I'm too tall trying to tuck my head under the screen. But that's my body shape, that's not the bike's fault. I did have to tighten them up with an Allen key. They were very, very loose, and these bits just kind of, I don't know, I set them, so I'll set it out there and that's great, and then it just vibrates into its natural position. So I think if I unscrewed this and moved them right out, I'd be okay. It will take a little bit of adjustment. As I said, I can see behind me, but it just takes some body manoeuvring. There's a lot of my elbow in this, a lot of it. And as I said in many, many videos, I've got really sexy elbows, so it's not a deal breaker, people. It's not a deal breaker. Right, engine-wise, very vibey indeed, and quite loud, I've got to say. I mean, it's not offensively loud, but it is loud for a 125. I don't know if you can hear that on the camera, on the microphone, but it is a little bit, I don't know, loud. I think that's what we're going with that. It's a little bit loud. But once you're up to these sort of speeds, up around your 50 miles an hour, the wind noise takes over a little bit. Obviously you can tuck down behind the screen, and talking about the screen, it's doing a good job of keeping the air off. The airflow's quite nice over me. I've got no buffeting at all, but it's not a fast bike, so I wouldn't expect that at all. Right, we're going uphill now, 6th gear. It's got 6 gears, by the way, just in case you were wondering. You weren't, but I'm telling you. Yeah, you have to fight the gearbox going uphill, but that's a 125 for you. Oh, we're right on that red line now. Right, back to the vibes, yeah. Not sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Some people would pay good money for these vibrations. They are literally going through my nether regions. Some would say in a pleasant way. That would be me at the moment. I'm actually quite enjoying it. I shouldn't be, but I am. But on a long journey, I'm not sure if I'd enjoy it as much as I would for the first 10 minutes. If you are a lady, this is not sexist by the way, but if you are a lady and your fella's not doing what he should be doing, this would be the one for you. You'll never have to date again. So as I said, it's got 6 gears. You have to work them a little bit. You really have to rag it up to the 7,000-8,000 revs and then quick change the gears. The clutch has got quite a long throw. Doesn't really do much right until there. So this little bit here has no, if you can see that, this little bit here doesn't really do much. It might just take a little bit of adjustment, but it's a little cable, and the gear lever itself has a little bit of play into it, so it's quite a long throw for such a supposedly sporty bike. The power seems to be, looking at this, probably around 6,000 to 8,000 revs. So if you keep it in that little sweet spot and use your momentum, that's the thing about 125s, is momentum. If you can keep your momentum up, they're good fun. And if you ride them normally, they're very economical. I'm not sure what this does miles to the gallon, but I shall leave a link downstairs, as I said, with the specifications, and I'm sure it will be in there. Dashboard's nice and easy to read. We shall go through that when we do the walk around. But it's very nice, very colourful. It's not TFT, it's just a colour digital dash, and it is quite pleasant. A little bit Donkey Kong, but it is pleasant. It has got mode button and set on here, but I have no idea where the buttons are. I keep pressing them, but there doesn't seem to be any buttons whatsoever. So when we do the walk round, I'll have a closer look, but I keep prodding at the screen, but nothing happens, so I can't cycle through the kind of onboard computer. Just gonna have a little play with the brakes. This front, I'm not going to slam them on because I'm not sure if it's ABS or not. I just want to get the feel for them rather than how effective they are. I haven't had any issues with them since I've been riding it. They feel pretty nice. They feel quite strong for a 125, especially the back. But let's just stamp on that. Let's pull the clutch in, just roll in it. That's definitely not ABS. But it is quite a strong rear brake. I did step out a little bit then. This mirror is really annoying me. I mean, that is rubbish. Lucky I haven't lost that. Anyway, let's shove that in my pocket. We're not 360 in it, are we? We had a go. They're not bloody cheap either. Actually, let me take that off, because now you're going to have to look at a spike sticking up. That's not pleasant, is it? I know I'm faffing around, but this is the bits you don't see, you see? You don't see, but you normally see. But you know what I'm talking about. You don't, do you? I do. I don't, really. I'm just making this shit up as I go along. But you wouldn't come here for a professional review, would you? No, that's not why you're here. There's plenty of professional channels out there that make it look good. That's not my style. I'm here to let you know we're all normal people on YouTube. Well, some of us are, some of us aren't, but I am. Here you go, look at that Krieger backpack. A little bit of product placement there. Even though I paid for it, I shouldn't really give them product placement, should I? But I am, because I didn't pay full price for it. It's not what you know, it's who you blow. I mean, no, shh, don't tell anyone. But anyway, let's get back on with this. Right, so suspension wise, it's pretty good. It's not super sporty, so it's not rock hard. There's a little bit of play in it. It's actually a nice in between hard, sporty and soft. It soaks up the bumps quite nicely. If you do throw it into a bend, it seems to be okay. I haven't gone mad into bends, and not intending to go mad into bends because of the tyres. I did mention them before. I like a decent tyre on a bike, so I can get a little bit of feedback from the road. But it's not too bad. Whatever it's got on here, it's not too bad. As I said, you have got to keep momentum up. You've basically got to keep it pinned, especially when you're going uphill like this. On these bumpy country lanes, as I said, the suspension does a really, really good job of soaking it all up. Right, so here we have her, the little SINNIS GPX 125 sports bike, and it's a very, very good looking bike. You can't deny that. It really does look good. It's got all the right angles, it's got all the right kind of things on it to make it look sporty, and you can't fault that. Right, let's have a little bit of a walk round. As I said before, most of the information, the specifications will be downstairs in the descriptions box from SINNIS. Obviously they know more than I do. I had a quick look, but not a lot. We're just going to run around the bike and I'm just going to show you a few little details of it, and hopefully you'll like it. But it is a pretty little sports bike, I've got to say. It's nice. I've just noticed the ridges on the tank. I don't know if you can see that. That's nice. My knees sit really nicely under that. I didn't notice that, but it was very comfortable. Can't see that on the top, obviously. It just looks like a wide tank. There you go. Professional reviews, you see. But this is why we're doing a walk round, so you can see these little details. Right, let's start at the front and work our way back as normal. On the front, you've got a 180 17-inch rim. It's not ABS, as you can see there, so I'd suggest that it's combined braking. I think you can see that via that. And that is the minimum you can have on a 125 today, is a combined braking system. They have to have either ABS on the front or a combined braking system. This one has combined braking system. I've said it so much it doesn't actually make sense anymore. It's got upside down forks and it's got a little radiator in there, so liquid cooled. They are LED lights. I would love to show you those, but I can't, because you need the engine running and you can't start the engine on the side stands. We will come to that in a minute. I think it's one of the most ridiculous things I've seen on a bike, but each to their own. Back here, that's the little 125 engine in there, and then you've got the foot peg here in this brassy gold colour. It is sprayed. I'm not sure how long the paint will last on that, but at the moment it looks good. You've got a little bit of rubber on there and you've got your hero block there, and obviously they do have a little bit of flex in them for when you get the pegs down, because it's a sports bike. Brake there is just a standard little metal lever. It is a good back brake, lacks a little bit of feel, but it is a new bike and I'm sure that will bed in. On the back here, the exhaust, again, I would love to start it up and let you hear what it sounds like, but I can't. Right, on the back, tyre 140 70 17 there. The tyres are CST, you know, that famous brand, CST. I have no idea, never heard of them. It says CMNK01 on them. They are okay. They don't feel that, actually they don't feel that bad. They're a little bit sticky, as you can see. I've got to about there, but any more than that is a bit of a risk, especially with my skill levels. At the back, you've got these LED lights here. I can show you those, they come on. Right, so on the back you've got these LED strip lights, which are fantastic. I do like these. They look really good. Very impressed with those. They look like LED indicators. Let's see if we can see those. Indicators are LED on the back, and on the front LEDs as well. On the front I can show you the LED running lights, the DRLs. Those strips there, they light up. The actual main lights are under there, but they don't light up until the engine started, I believe. Round this side, chain driven. That's your pillion peg, same on the other side, in that same gold colour. It's metal, it's got a little bit of grip on there. Whether you'd want to ride with a pillion on here, I don't know, but each to their own. In there you've got the shock absorber. I'm not sure if it's adjustable at all. There's a little bit of, looks like preload at the top, but nothing more than that I would expect. Again, foot peg, gear shift. As I said, this does have a little bit of play in it when you're changing gears, but it's a 125, it's a cheap 125. I think this comes in at about £3,400 or £3,500 there or thereabouts for a little 125 sports bike. Front caliper is this red caliper. Looks like a 3-piston caliper. I'm not sure. Again, look at the specifications. It is a single disc, so no double disc on the front, and obviously a single disc on the back. If you are taking a pillion, it hasn't really got anywhere to grab back here, so you're going to have to hug the rider. It's fine if you like them, but if you don't like them, it's a little bit of a pain. Has no under-seat storage. I cannot find a keyhole anywhere to lift this back seat or this, so I'm not sure how you get under there, if you can or cannot. Doesn't look like it to me. So maybe it's an Allen key jobby or a little bit of, I don't know. The seat is actually quite nice and padded. As I said, for a sports bike, these are usually wafer thin, but that's quite nice. Pillion doesn't feel too bad either. If you are taking one, it's got a weird little hump here. It looks good, like aerodynamic, but I'm not sure how that would translate into your booty, but there you go. Right, let's go through the cockpit and up front. We'll start with the handlebars and then we'll work on to the dashboard. the left hand side, clutch, you got a push to pass here, which is your flasher, full beams, and your normal indicators, push to cancel, and then your hooter down here. Right, so moving on to the right hand side, you've got your front brake, you've got your kill switch, you've got your hazard warning lights there, and down here you've got your starter. As I said, look, we're starter up, we go down here, she just doesn't start with the side stand down, so you've got no way of warming it up, and that to me is just, it's strange. Now I understand it's a safety thing for some people, but really, I like to come out of the garage, start my bikes and let them warm up while I'm faffing around, basically putting my gloves on, putting my lid on, closing the garage, tidying up. I like to do that. So this, it's okay in the summer, but in the winter you like to give them a little bit of warmth. But anyway, back to the dash. I'm getting pelted by crap from this tree. So if you see stuff flying past, yeah, it's Armageddon. It's not, it's just windy today. Right, so let's go through this. Here you've got your rev counter, you've got your engine temperature, fuel gauge, speedometer, neutral light, engine management light, your lights light, if that makes sense. Doesn't even make sense, does it? Your lights basically tells you you're on. You've got your miles here, and you've got a clock up here, which is obviously wrong. Little GPX sign there. It is a digital dash. It's not LCD. It's not TFT. It's just a bit Donkey Kong-ish, but it's very bright and very easy to read. It has got mode written here and something else written here, but I can't find any buttons anywhere. I don't know where the buttons are supposed to be. There's nothing under here. There's nothing here. I don't know whether there's supposed to be buttons here. But I don't know, someone will have to tell me. Drop a little comment if you own one of these. How do you change the modes on the dash? I have no idea. There's nothing on the handlebars, and there seems to be no buttons on there. Anyway, that's the dash. Let's get on and ride some more, and I'll give you my conclusion. Would I buy one? Would I not buy one? And just give you a general sum up. Let's just get on a ride, basically. Shut up waffling. Ride the bike, son. Ride the bike. So here we go, we're near enough at the red line in 6th gear, about 60 miles an hour, so maxed out, probably if you're touching the red, 65. Haven't been down this road for ages. It tests the suspension and the handling just a little bit. It's a nice road to get an all-round feel for it. It's not the greatest road, but it's a good fun road. Well, I like it, and it's national speed, so we can have a bit of fun. This is good fun. If you keep it in that sweet spot, it's fun. I wouldn't say it's quick, but it's fun. Something great about ragging a 125 down a country lane. That was good fun. I enjoyed that. Right, so let's do a quick summary. Ergonomics, okay, bit wristy, but I would expect that because it's a sports bike. It's got clip-ons, So not ideal for me. I am tall, as I said in the beginning, but if you are shorter you might find it okay. And that's the thing, you may be different sizes to me, so try the bikes you want. Go and sit on them all, go and give them a try. That way you'll know what's good for you. What's good for me might not be good for you. Tip of the day. So yeah, ergonomics okay. The actual foot pegs are in a nice position. My legs are not aching at all. Feels quite nice. It's nice reach to the gear shift and the brake. The seat, very comfortable for a sports bike. I quite like it. So all in all, ergonomics okay, wristy for me. Mirrors, pretty pants. They vibrate themselves into all sorts of positions and not necessarily ones that you can use to look behind you. You can if you bend down here. Again, if you're shorter than me and you're down here, they're all right. But when you're tall and you're up here, you can't really get them into a position you want. But then again, it's not that type of bike. You're meant to be crouched down on it. It's a sports bike, and I can't crouch down on it because I'm too big. So it's not the bike's fault. It's my fault for being genetically wrong for the machine. Wind blast and weather protection. Do you know what? It's actually pretty good. I've got a nice pure wind on me. It's not buffety at all. There's no buffeting whatsoever. It's nice. It sends the wind right up into the top of my crash helmet and over. It's a very smooth airflow, even at my height. When you're shorter and you're tucked down in that bubble, it's going to be a nice place. You might even get a few more miles per hour out of it, because basically with me sitting on this, I'm like a bloody big sail. It's very aerodynamically designed, unlike myself. Engine, not sure about this. When you get it on song and you keep it up 7,000 to 8,000 revs and you keep in that momentum zone, it's good, but it is a little bit vibey and a little bit noisy. I would expect it to be noisy. You're ragging it basically, but it's just that vibes up there. When you're on it, it's very, very vibey. Again, as I said in the beginning, some of you might like that. Some of you might really, really like that. I mean, it's that vibey that you could probably sell this through Ann Summers. Suspension I like. I really like the suspension. Soaks up the bumps nicely. It's not jarring, doesn't judder, doesn't throw you out the seat, doesn't throw you all over the place. It's a nice happy medium between firm and soft. I would change the tyres just to give me confidence. They haven't done anything wrong. It's just I don't know how they would be on anything but a bone dry road. The suspension is probably one of my favourite things on the bike. Brakes, a little bit wooden, lack a little bit of feel. Again, they haven't done anything wrong, it's just they lack a little bit of feel. If it's your first bike, you won't notice that, they'll just be brakes. But if you come from bikes that have a very, very good quality braking system, you will notice that the front and the rear are a little bit wooden in feel. So the conclusion, would I or would I not have one of these in my garage? No, I wouldn't. I like the idea of it. If I was 17, I'd love this. If I was young, virile and just out there trying to pose, like the look of a sports bike, because this bike really, really does look good. I've got to say that. It really does look quite nice in the flesh. It is good fun, but I want 250 or above. It's just the fact that it's a sports bike. I want a little bit more shove. I want a little bit more fun. I mean, it is immense fun, don't get me wrong. But for me, a sports bike should be a little bit quicker. But as I said, if you're 17, your first bike, you're going to love it. You are absolutely going to love it. A little bit vibey, a little bit noisy. It's quite invigorating, actually. It's a bit raw, that's the word. We're a little bit raw on this one. But I probably wouldn't have one. Right, so thank you very much for watching this video. I do appreciate it. Don't forget to drop down in the descriptions box and have a little look there, where you'll find the specifications for this, the website for Sinnis, and also the website for On The Wheel Motorcycles. So thank you very much to the guys and girls down there for giving me this bike, dropping it off and letting me have it in the garage for a little while. I do appreciate it. But for now, that just leaves me to say thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe, to like, to share, to do all those things that you need to do. Also hit that notification bell so you guys can get a drop on these videos. I shall see you on the next one. You know I love you all. Stay safe. Fish out. So conclusion is, I know I've already done the conclusion, leave it. But this is an extra conclusion just on the tail end of it for those of you that are stuck around. The basis is, if you get this bike, just rag it. Just rag it. That's all I'm saying. Rag it. It'll make you smile. And that's my conclusion. Rag the backside off of it until it explodes.
Get all your bags, get out my house. I don't want your stuff around. I never did you wrong, but you did me wrong, so go ahead, get gone. Get all your bags, get out my house, I don't want your stuff around. I never did you wrong, but you did me wrong, so go ahead and get gone.